You're tuning in to Luminal on the Wall. Welcome. I'm your host, Becky, and joining me always is my co-host and beautiful sister, Bevy.
In our podcast, we will take a deep dive into the evil side of humanity. We will talk about suspicious deaths, shoddy investigations, and all the gory details in between.
But be warned, we will not hesitate to call BS when we hear it, which means you may not always agree with us, but we promise to lay out the evidence so you can come to your own conclusions based on what is presented.
Listeners' discretion is advised. What's up, True Crime World? It's the sisters, Bevy and Becky, and we have a local case, Becky told me.
Yes, we do, Bev. It's going to be really interesting. Somewhat recent, like in the last 10 years as well.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, 11,
cool.
My bad.
Oh, just made the cut.
Just made the cut.
So,
we're having our Sister Saturday, basically.
Yeah, we've been singing Part of Your World.
Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid.
We will not share these, but it's fun.
Yeah, Becky was embarrassed over her little singing bit last week.
I for sure thought Bev was going to take that out, but clearly you got to see all my musical performances or hear them.
Oliva.
Oh my God, Beverly. And then you make fun of me for it.
Hey. Your pain is my amusement.
Hey, okay there,
Shut
Peter
the
Griffin.
Fuck up, Becky. Wow. That was slightly maniacal. Was that payback? Just like immediate payback? You're like, Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
I just sounded like it again. The laugh. Anyways, let's just get into it before you continue to be an asshole to me.
Yes, but first, before we get into it, Bevy.
Yeah.
Please, if you've been listening to our podcast, please go like us on Instagram at Luminal on the Wall, or give us a follow on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, and like reach out. If you're listening and you have listened to numerous podcasts of ours, like say hello. We'd love to hear from you. On that note,
let's get into our story today, Bev.
All right.
Okay, so Lisa Mitchell was the youngest of Peggy Mitchell's 2 children. As a young child, the Mitchell family realized that Lisa loved to express herself through art. She was absolutely brilliant, and she could paint and draw anything from pure memory.
Holy crap. Talk about a photographic memory.
Yeah, her family made note of one time she drew this very detailed motorbike.
Yeah.
With no photo reference.
That is insane.
Like all the intricate details of a motorbike, insane.
I've always been jealous of people who can do that because I'm the type of person where if I can see the picture of it, I could draw it pretty well. But if I don't have a picture reference, no way in hell. So kudos to Lisa.
Lisa, that's right. As Lisa got older, she developed an equally strong passion for music.
So still artsy, but a different mode of art.
Exactly. In fact, Bev, she was so into music and dance, she actually was part of a girl group called Just 'Cuz. They would sing and they choreographed their dance moves to go along with it.
Cute.
However, once Lisa graduated high school, she actually worked a couple of jobs at grocery stores and didn't really follow her passion with music and dance into any continued education. However, she ended up graduating from the grocery store and working for a mobile snow cone company. And she would actually work at different events selling snow cones.
That's so wild.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it actually brought her great joy because some of the events that she ended up working for were high-profile ones. And on one occasion, she actually met Chad Kroger's mom, who, for anyone who does not know...
Nickelback. Lead singer of Nickelback.
Classic
Chad Kroger.
Yeah. And so because...
As a side note, Chad Kroger's name always makes me think of Freddy Krueger.
Oh, I was thinking cereal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like Kroger Market? Is that a thing, or am I making shit up?
No, I feel like you're not, but at the same time, I don't fully know.
Yours is way cooler.
Mine was way cooler, yeah. With the Halloween season coming up and all.
That is right, Krueger, Freddy
yeah.
Krueger.
So anyways, I don't know why I always think of that, just because his last name kind of sounds similar, you know?
Okay, Bev, so because she met Chad Kroger's mom, she actually was invited to go hang out with Nickelback for a little bit and sit with them behind their autograph signing table.
Oh my God.
This was like a dream come true for her.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean...
Me too. I love Nickelback. I love Nickelback. I love Nickelback.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I love Nickelback. No. You either hate Nickelback or you love it. Which side of the fence are you on, Becky?
Ooh, you know what? If there's only two sides of the fence, I'm gonna have to choose I love Nickelback.
Yes!
Because, like, they're catchy.
Yep.
You know all the words. Like, everyone knows who Nickelback is. They know their songs. I actually went to a Nickelback concert when I was, like, 19, 18.
Oh, my God. You've gone to Metallica, Nickelback. Did you go to Guns N' Roses?
Yes.
Fuck, Becky. You got some good concerts in.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, honestly, all of them were super phenomenal. But Nickelback was so entertaining. Like, I don't get how people can judge them.
I don't know either. Great. So I can see why Lisa loves Nickelback, because
we do too. Absolutely. So, Bev, after this gig with the snow cones, Lisa actually ended up meeting a man named Allan Shyback. She had been at a restaurant and he was the sous chef. Now, the pair was absolutely drawn together. However, they were complete opposites. Lisa was a lot more outgoing and loved to socialize, where Allan was really introverted. Now, the two really became fond of each other, and Lisa's mom and husband at the time, they didn't like Allan. They thought they were too different.
Oh.
But Lisa fell head over heels for the guy. But as Peggy, her mom, predicted, it wasn't long until their differences actually started causing problems in their relationship.
Right.
Allan would get upset when she would go out and, have a good time. But Lisa ultimately said, "This is who I am. Kind of take it or leave it, guy."
Yeah, suck it.
And so, well, he took it.
So he accepted that she was outgoing and would go out, but not without repercussions, I'm guessing?
Well, at the time, they actually used this kind of little tiff to work through this problem and become stronger as a couple.
I love that.
Now, after years of dating, so around the 5-year mark, Allan and Lisa ended up actually having the same issue.
Oh.
And it kept resurfacing. They'd fight, they'd get back together or find an agreement. However, the frustration kind of came to a head, and they had a huge fight, bigger than any other. When Lisa had come home from work, she had found Allan had taken everything and left. He moved out. And I think he might have been a bit spiteful, because not only did he take his stuff, he took some of her stuff, including her guitar, which was absolutely important because...
That's evil.
I know. We know how much she loved music. Like, why would you take her guitar, you weenie?
Because he's a dickhead.
Exactly. He's a dickhead. So, once he left, Lisa ended up moving in with her mom. But it wasn't long before she actually started to move on, and she started dating again. She had gone to Toronto with someone of interest and some friends. She was there a couple weeks, and in that time period while she was gone, Allan actually found where Peggy lived and showed up at her house.
Ew.
I know.
Why?
Well, Beth, this man, he felt bad for what he did. He left Lisa high and dry, and he felt terrible.
Leave it alone. She's having a great time.
In Toronto. So not only did he want to apologize to Lisa, but he actually showed Peggy that he bought an engagement ring for her.
OMG, Rebecca.
Yeah, I know, went from I left you high and dry to
I'm stealing your shit.
I need you to marry me. Here's an engagement ring.
This guy's all over the place.
He is, isn't he? However, Peggy, being a good supportive mom, she
Protective mom.
Yeah, she said, "You got to move on."
Yeah.
she's like out seeing other people. You got to. However, she said, she's out of town. You'll have to talk to her. So go home. There's nothing for you here at the moment.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, when Lisa did get home from Toronto, her and Allan ended up talking it over, and they did decide to get back together.
Oh, I hate this already.
Oh, no.
When I hear things like this, like that is such possessive, controlling, like emotionally manipulative behavior. To one, take her stuff, like get rid of it all, like so extreme. Like take your stuff and go, sure. But like for him to be like, I'm so sorry, buy her a ring. Like those are two opposing ends of the spectrum. Bomb? Well, or not consider? Really. Oh. Not really. Like maybe at that, like the engagement ring is a love bomb because now he's like tried to get her back, right? Mm-hmm. This is so he goes to the extreme. So yes. But then he manipulates, pulls on her heartstrings with the freaking ring. Mm-hmm. You know, shows her like he feels bad, even though really it's a selfish motive. She didn't come chasing you. That made you feel like crap. And then you just play with her emotions with this. And so she ends up getting back with you. And I just think it's sad. It's like so possessive, you know? It's like she was moving on. Now he has to like get her back. I don't like it.
Well, Bev, you probably won't like this much either then, because not long after they reconciled, they actually started a family together.
Whoa, okay.
So it moved pretty quickly. They had a cute little boy, and then 2 years later, they had a little girl. So to support his family, Allan worked as a mechanic and sometimes a chef. Lisa would tell her family that he had a hard time keeping a job, so a lot of the pressure actually fell on her. She would stay home all day with the kids, you know, take care of them, do all their stuff and appointments, and then she would make her family dinner, and then when Allan got home, she would head off to work.
What? So he got home from work, though?
Yeah.
Okay. And then she would have to go again. That's, wow.
That's like that's a long day.
That's a long day.
And you know what? Taking care of kids is not easy.
No. God, no.
It's frustrating in a different way.
Totally.
Yeah. Lisa would tell her mom that she was really frustrated with Allan because he would come home from work and he would complain about how tired he was. He refused to help with dinner and the kids so that Lisa could get ready for work. She had to be with her kids all day, taking care of them, and then still had to go to work in the evenings. Like, how exhausting.
I don't think I would survive that. I mean, I would, but it would be hard.
Especially seeing your partner not really
doing anything to help you. Weight. Oh my God.
So obviously this was a huge source of contention within their relationship. And on a regular basis, it would result in arguments. Eventually, though, Bev, these fights got physical. So they obviously progressed. And in July of 2012, Lisa's mom offered a safe place for Lisa and her children. However, being with Allan for just about a decade, Lisa felt obligated to work on their relationship and try and persevere.
That's unfortunate.
It really is, right?
Yeah.
He's obviously not doing a good job to support you and your children.
Yeah, and furthermore, things are getting physical. Like, that's not good for your children. That's not good for you. It's, like, really not good for anyone. It puts everyone at risk. Everyone. Even Allan.
Even Allan.
So, I don't know. I understand when someone thinks like her, but it's not right. If that's going on, walk away. You know, it's time.
So, in order to persevere, the couple actually got a new place together in Southeast Calgary. And it seemed at that point, with that change, Lisa, she was happy. She was enjoying her life. However, it was within that move that she realized, you know what? I'm happy, but Allan does not contribute to my happiness.
Oh.
So that was a huge realization for her. And again in July, just to make ends meet, Peggy actually helped Lisa get a second job. So not only was she working during the day with her kids and then working in the evening, she also took a job on the weekend.
Oh my gosh, that's so devastating.
The good thing is that Lisa actually got to work with her mom. She worked at Twin City Hotel. It was an hour drive south of Calgary in Longview County. And Peggy said that this hotel and bar was the type of place where everyone knows your name, everyone was super friendly, and it was just really awesome place to work and get to know locals. And in October of 2012, the saloon was getting ready to host a Halloween party. Now, Lisa's mother, Peggy, actually lived in Longview. So, for this Halloween party, Lisa and Peggy decided to go out and have a great time together. They would dress up in costumes and, you know, these ladies, they knew how to have a good time. They were out until 3 a.m. partying with each other. They were dancing, singing, having some drinks, just having a real good time as mother and daughter.
That warms my heart.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So then obviously they go back to Peggy's house. They crash for the night. And around 9 a.m. the next morning, they woke up to have coffee and breakfast together.
Sweet. That's so sweet.
It is. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, their time got cut a little short because Lisa got a phone call and was needed at home. So she left around 11 a.m. and headed back to Calgary. Later that day, Peggy tried to get a hold of Lisa, as she normally would. She had left voicemails, she texted, and initially when she didn't get a response back, she didn't think much of it, like maybe she's busy with the kids, the family, they're out, who knows.
Of course.
But by the next morning, when she still didn't hear back from her daughter, she was a little concerned.
Cause for concern, for sure.
Yeah. So this was October 29th, and she was concerned, and she had a really uneasy feeling in her stomach.
Oh, no.
Eventually, Peggy just decided, you know what? I'm driving to Calgary, and I'm going to go to their house.
Yeah, check on my daughter.
Exactly.
It seems like they're also just really close, and I mean, like, if I don't talk to Mom for 2 days or 3 days, she's not going to be like, something has gone wrong with my daughter. But if you're that close with your mom where you're seeing her, working with her, you know, partying with her,
texting daily,
XYZ, yeah.
She knows something's up.
Obviously, it's weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she made her way to Calgary, and she ended up knocking on the door. Allan answered. And Peggy's like, hey, Allan, where is my daughter? Mm-hmm. And he actually told her that Lisa left. He said the couple had been having a discussion when Lisa asked him to go get smokes from the store. So he did. He was maybe gone 15 to 20 minutes, and when he returned, Lisa was gone, and he hadn't heard from her since. Keep in mind, their children were still there with Allan.
All of her stuff is probably still there.
Yes, it was, Bev. Now, Peggy, she was kind of standing in the doorway, and she noticed that her daughter's favorite shoes and jacket were still there.
Oh, no.
Now, this really stood out because it was the end of October, and for anyone who doesn't know what it's like in Calgary around that time, it is usually kind of cold.
Yeah, like, it could snow.
Yeah, like you are wearing a jacket.
And probably your favorite one at that.
Exactly. So, Peggy at that point, she, asked to see the rest of the house. She wants to, what is going on?
Yeah.
Is there anything suspicious?
She's not going to take this just for what it is, right?
Exactly.
Oh, my daughter just completely left without all of her favorite things with her kids at home, blah, blah, blah.
Logical.
Liar.
Not.
Yeah. Good for Peggy.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Does he let her in?
He does. He's like, yeah, come on in. Peggy doesn't find her purse anywhere, but she finds many other items that typically Lisa would not leave the house without, such as there was a phoenix necklace that she always wore out of the house, and a leather wrist bracelet strap.
Right.
And it was just not common for her not to wear it, so she noticed it and kind of made a mental note.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she said, okay, she has no real reason to suspect that anything else has happened other than her daughter did leave and needed space.
Right.
So before she left, Allan had said that not long after Lisa left, he received an email from her. And he thought that if he got one, that Lisa would send her mom one as well.
First of all, what the fuck? An email? What year was this, Becky?
2012.
Give me a freaking break. No text, an email.
I know.
You have to be by a computer at, like, around that time, email. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, like, if it was newly functioning on a phone. Like, remember back in the day in the flip phones genre, like, when we graduated from high school, I don't think I ever checked my email on my phone. So, just weird. I mean, you think her preferred mode of communication would be text.
You would think that, actually.
Yeah.
So Allan thought that in that email there might be some more answers as to what happened to Lisa, or why she left, who she's with, is she safe, stuff like that. So at that point, with no clear indication that anything was wrong, Peggy went back home.
Did she check her email?
Absolutely she did.
And
she sure as shit if she had an email.
Oh, of course she did.
And what her daughter told her is that she just had to get away for a bit. However, she would be in touch and that she loved her. Now, even though Allan told Peggy this might happen, she was still really surprised. She had a hard time believing that her daughter would just uproot and leave.
Yeah, I mean, if she needs space, she probably doesn't need space from her mom, who she just spent the night partying with. And why wouldn't she just answer her texts or her call when her mom called her? Like, there's no reason to just completely ignore your mom, you know, like that, and send her an email instead. Like, how fucking weird.
Right? And, like, let your mom worry that way.
It's obviously ringing as weird to me at this point.
It's fishy. That is
fishy
for darn sure.
AF.
So Peggy and her daughter corresponded back and forth for a couple weeks. Every night, Peggy went to bed with her cell phone beside her, hoping that she would hear from her daughter. Unfortunately, when she got a call, she was asleep and missed it.
So she was just corresponding through email, and she was hoping to hear, like, get a call from her and hear from her that way. Okay, obviously, because she's like, this is weird.
And in mid-November, she missed that call. It was at 2:45 in the morning.
Mid-November, so, like, you need space, but you're going to take 2 weeks away from your kids. Like, that's not space. That's traumatic for your kids. Like, just up and go.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
Fortunately, Lisa left a voicemail.
Becky.
Now, what she said was that, I'm okay. Sometimes things just get out of hand. Some things just take a while, but I'm okay. Then she ended with, okay, he's home. I gotta go. And that was the end. It left Peggy wondering, okay, who's home and why do you have to go? She wondered, are you with someone controlling you? Are you chained up in a basement somewhere? Who could you possibly be with that you wouldn't be able to talk to your mom?
Well, yeah. I'm actually surprised that Lisa left a message. And I'm kind of curious to know if it's actually Lisa or if it's someone impersonating her or something, because I won't lie to you, Becky. I thought she was dead at this point. I mean, all the signs were there.
And now there's this voicemail.
What is going on?
Exactly. So, Bev, the number that Lisa called from was hidden. Like, there was no number for Peggy to call back.
Oh.
So that is, again, concerning because she has no way to reach her daughter.
And she has no way to fully know that it is her daughter.
That is the truth. Now,
and Becky, why would she hide her number from her mother?
Why would she, Bev?
Why would she hide her number from her mother, Becky?
She wouldn't. She just wouldn't, Bev. So, Bev, obviously, Peggy reported her daughter missing to the Calgary police.
Yeah, of course. Thank goodness. Go Peggy.
Exactly. So the missing person unit started to dive into the whereabouts of Lisa. Who was the last person to see her before she disappeared? It was her long-term partner, Allan Shyback.
Yes, it was.
Now, on January 29th, so a little while later, 2013.
Holy fuck. So this is months later. She went missing on October 29th. November, December, 2 months.
Well, exactly. Well, there was no foul play, so it was kind of hard to... Is there a crime? Did she go missing intentionally, right?
Yeah, and Peggy got a voicemail, what have you, and, like, was told that she needs space. So, of course, she's trying to honor that for her daughter and is not thinking worst case scenario until 2 months later when she still hasn't freaking heard from her daughter.
Exactly. So, obviously, the police thought that this was weird, too. They needed to talk to Allan. So they brought him in to speak with a homicide detective. Not just a missing person, but a homicide detective.
Was that an intentional decision by the police to kind of make him worry and panic a little bit inside?
It was an intentional decision.
Yeah.
Kind of to put the pressure on him to get more answers, and because people dealing with like the homicide unit, the detectives are a little bit more skilled in their questioning and solving, right?
Right.
It's just different scenarios. So they thought, let's put some pressure on.
I like that because it goes from him being like, oh, my wife is missing to, we're on to you, motherfucker.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Now, when Allan was there, he kind of broke down and spoke of the tumultuous relationship that the two had. He said there was a lot of yelling and screaming in their household that eventually led to a bit of violence. And Allan told the detectives that he was the one that was being abused. He mentioned that they eventually both came to the realization that they really wanted to make this work for their children, and that they were going to keep their past in the past and try and move forward in a more positive relationship. And so he was rather deflated when he realized that she just up and left him.
Oh, how convenient of a story. Like, you were the victim, then you chose to work on it, now she's left you. Wow, Becky, well, this is becoming eerily similar to last week's case, where we hear about a woman missing or dead, and the husband, partner, is claiming he is the victim of abuse.
Yeah, like, woe are you, sir.
In the last case, it wasn't true. In this case, I guess we will find out.
Yeah, you don't
but
know
I have
yet.
my doubts.
That's fair. Now, to the detectives, Allan actually came across as a man who was defeated and sad. And they partly wondered still, did Lisa not want to be found? Either way, they found their investigation halted, and there was no more leads, no evidence of foul play. They just did not have a direction to go in.
Yeah.
Fortunately, though, for detectives, there was a change to the Missing Persons Act in Alberta that allowed investigators to look into not only Lisa's private information, but also all missing persons' private information.
Oh, without a warrant. So
Exactly.
they could, like, get her phone records or something, right?
Yeah, like, let's just see if we can find you to make sure you're okay, even if you don't want to be found.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that they changed that. Because normally you would need a warrant, right?
Mm-hmm. But
whoa,
in 2013, or it was late 2012 or 13, that it was changed.
Wow.
So this was a bonus for detectives. They were able to access Lisa's phone records, so they were able to see all the people that she had been speaking to and coming in contact with. That means texts, online dating sites, emails, social media, anything and everything that they could access through her phone. That gave them a couple more leads to go on, Bev.
Oh, fantastic. What were the leads?
Like, they had people that they could talk to, but they still had no idea where Lisa was. It all came back like no help.
So the leads were dead ends.
Exactly.
Fuck.
So with all these new leads that
basically went nowhere and were dead ends,
that process of following up with them took almost 2 years.
What?
Yes. So because all these leads went cold, they asked Peggy in late 2014 to tell her daughter's story in a public plea for assistance.
Oh my gosh, because they're desperate. They want to find her because obviously she told her mom she needed space, but 2 years, like over 2 years, that's not space. Like, something went wrong.
Something is up.
So I can see why they're desperate. So they're like, let's get the public involved, see if they saw anything, know anything, right?
Exactly.
Oh.
So, slightly fast forward to December 6th, 2014, there was a break in the case. So,
Yay.
Remember how Peggy got that really strange voicemail from her daughter?
Yes, from a private number.
Yes. Well, the police were finally able to get the phone number, and they found that it was a pay-as-you-go phone. It was bought in Calgary, but it had been registered in Edmonton. Now, on that phone number, there was only 5 phone calls made. 4 of them were to Allan, and 1 was to Peggy.
Which, I mean...
That would make sense. Those would be the people she called.
Yeah. There's no random freaking number on there, right?
However, Bev, in saying that, the concerning thing is, Allan had told investigators that he had not heard from Lisa outside of the emails.
Right.
So investigators start thinking, why would you lie about that?
Yeah.
And if you're lying about this...
What else are you lying about?
Exactly.
I'm also thinking, like, maybe what I said earlier about someone impersonating her, maybe that is a real possibility.
So not only were the police able to see what numbers were called from that cell phone, they were actually able to track where those calls originated from.
Oh, snap.
And they found that it was, whether it was Lisa or someone else, whoever made that call was either from in Allan's house or nearby his house.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this information took the case from a missing person to an actual crime. And because of this, it allowed the police to look into Allan at a much deeper level.
Yay.
They could request his phone records and actually track where he's been over the last couple months or over the last couple years.
Let's do this.
Exactly. So they wanted to know where he's been spending his money. So they also got bank records.
Wonderful.
And that showed where and how much money he had spent at certain stores. And the police were able to go to those stores and request the receipts that showed the exact items.
Detailing what he bought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
So one of their trips took them to a hardware store.
Oh, no.
It's always the hardware stores.
It's always the hardware stores.
No, it's not good.
No. What do you need from the hardware store, Allan?
Well, what he needed, Bev, and what he got was a large plastic Rubbermaid container.
Holy fuck.
Cat litter, bleach, gloves, cement, a mixing bucket, and a 4x2 piece of plywood. They had also seen a $40 purchase at a Walmart, and the phone that had been bought with a 1-month plan was $39.99. Now, the weird thing is the investigators found out that Allan was actually severely allergic to cats, and for that reason, his family had no cats, making it really weird why he was buying kitty litter.
Of course.
That specifically
Can I tell you something? And the reason why... It's so weird how I get information in time for these podcasts.
Oh.
But at my work,
yeah,
when I did my class 4 license, there's some safety things you need in the tubby bus. And literally one of them is like a liquid
absorber.
And they're talking about this like gravel type stuff that they use, and they're like, you can use kitty litter and other stuff to like clean up bodily fluids like vomit, and then it soaks it all up, right? And it's easier to clean. Which, I mean, listen, I don't know if he had to do any of that or if that's why he was buying it, but it's weird, isn't it?
That you have that information, you're like, oh, I see
Body
maybe
what?
I see you, Allan.
Yeah, we see you. You can't have from us.
Exactly. So, Bev, because of the weird combo of ingredients that he bought, or items, I should say, not ingredients, the detectives went and bought all the same items, brought them back to headquarters to figure out
what he was doing with this.
Yeah, like all of these items, how do they fit together?
Right.
And everyone that they showed and talked to all came up with the exact same answer.
Whoa, what? I need to know.
Burial kit.
Yeah, of course. Burial kit.
So
no doubt.
Yeah, at that point, Bev, obviously, red flags are seriously going off in their brains, and they need to get back to Allan's house to see if they can find anything else. So, the police do go back to Allan's house.
Yay! Yeah.
And his basement is a freaking mess. There is stuff piled on top of everything. They find the items that were on the receipt.
All of them?
Well, some had been used, but they find containers. They find a weird giant concrete slab. into a corner of the basement.
Was it attached to the floor?
Yeah, on the walls.
It was?
It was almost like if you think someone just poured a ton of concrete and made it look like a bench. An oddly placed bench.
No.
Yes. Now.
No.
Mm-hmm. Now, the police made sure that they didn't disrupt anything. They didn't really want Allan to know that they were starting to specifically look at him. So they were just there, like, can we just double check? Like, we're just following up with your partner's missing person file. You know, they're kind of playing low key. So they didn't want him to run or do anything weird. They needed a bit more information from Allan. So they actually, and you know I'm a big fan, they set up a Mr. Big sting.
No way.
Yes, they did.
It's legal in Canada.
That's right, it is.
And now we know.
Yeah. This Operation Bev, it is called Operation Aurora.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, because Allan wasn't really a criminal, they couldn't use their normal tactics like a crime boss or a gangster.
Right.
So they had to find a way to actually befriend him in a non-criminal way, which, you know, it took them a bit of time to figure it out. They're like, how can we make this seem legit?
Yeah.
They eventually accomplished this task. They just literally became his friend. They just met him, started hanging out. They had a group of guys that were all like nice and close and friends, brought him into their circle. They went as far though as to like help him find safe babysitters for his kids so he could hang out with them and get to know them. You know, a friend group.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Okay, so obviously, if it's not clear already, they're obviously undercover. They're not like just cops befriending.
Yeah, like, hey, we're cops, let's be friends. It's like,
no, they're undercover, obviously.
Joes. Let's be friends.
Yeah.
Exactly. So eventually, this bond and friendship, they ended up planning a guy's trip to, out of all the places, Winnipeg.
Okay.
So Allan goes with the undercover officers to Winnipeg. He thinks he's about to have a great time with his buddies. On their drive there, a homicide detective from Calgary calls Allan, and he lets him know that this is now a criminal investigation and that they're going to be searching his house.
Oh my God. While he's away. Oh my God.
Yeah, like perfect opportunity and plan. And also, like, he's probably shitting himself.
Yeah, of course he is, because now we know that Lisa did not go far from home.
Yeah.
In fact, she's a part of the home. We know it.
We know it now.
Holy shit.
So the undercover officer that Allan was driving with noted that when he got that information, he literally stopped breathing for a minute. He turned pale. He started sweating and hyperventilating, and he actually needed to pull the car over and get out.
Oh my God.
And he needed to have a cigarette. Now, Bev, the undercover officer gets out of the car, and at that point, Allan tells him the whole story.
What? Oh my gosh, because he's a trusting friend. What the fuck?
Exactly. Like, he just lets it all out. However, the undercover officer says, like, oh, okay, no problem, man. Like, he's playing it cool. So the undercover officer tells Allan he knows a guy that can help him get out of this mess.
Classic big sting operation right there.
Classic, yes.
Love it.
So Allan and the officer meet with this man who is also an undercover officer. And Allan thinks that this man's going to help him evade the police. He tells the officers that he was recently contacted by the detectives and that him and his children ultimately would need new identities because when the police search his house, there's no doubt he will be arrested.
My God.
He had opened up and told them how bad his relationship with Lisa was and that they were trying to live together. But the day after the Halloween party when Lisa got home, they almost immediately started arguing. They had slept in different rooms, and when they woke up, the arguing virtually started right where it left off the night before. At some point, the argument moved into the kitchen, and for some reason, Lisa had a chef's knife in her hand, and Allan felt that she was coming at him to stab him. He did say, when talking to undercover officers, that looking back, he's not so sure that that's what she was doing. Either way, a struggle ensued, and he ended up with his hands around her neck, choking her. Allan told the officers that he remembers sitting there with his hands around her neck thinking, I should just let go. But he just couldn't do it. He said he wound up hiding her body and bought a phone from Walmart, and this is what he used to send some text messages and emails to her family, saying that she had left. He also admitted he used previous recordings of Lisa that he edited together from on his computer, and that's what he sent Peggy.
Holy shit. Okay, so I was wrong. It was not somebody pretending to be Lisa.
Yep.
It was Lisa, because the one thing I was thinking, if it was somebody pretending to be her, like her mom would know her daughter's voice, you would think. So that's what made me question my initial theory on that. But holy crap, what a sneaky fuck.
Well, exactly, right? He then told them that he ended up cleaning the house from top to bottom.
I just also hate the idea of him making her seem like she had a knife. Like sure, maybe, but the moment you thought I could let go and then don't.
Was she the aggressor?
Was she?
He also had no injuries.
Yeah, I just think it's hard to believe, to be quite honest. And he can say what he wants, but I just think that's him trying to justify what he did as opposed to like truly saying something that occurred.
Yeah, like I lost my temper and I just decided to choke her.
Yeah, and also her going out all night with her mom and partying in general, whether it be with her mom or not, is a trigger for him, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the basis of literally all their arguments or most of their arguments.
Right? It sounds like it would track that he just got angry
and lost control.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, we will never know.
Of course.
Exactly. But that's our theory, and we're sticking to it.
Preach.
So Bev, at that time, as he's confessing this to the undercover officers, he tells them his basement is being searched or will be searched. He did not know that at that exact moment, the police were already searching his house.
Oh my God.
So the investigators start by clearing out his basement. They are looking for Lisa's body, and it came down to that concrete slab.
Oh my gosh.
She was in it.
It is worse than I freaking initially thought.
Mm-hmm. It is worse, isn't it?
So he put her, like, theorizing here, puts her in the bucket, stirs up the concrete, pours it in. Mm-hmm. It's rubber, so the concrete might get loose, like, dumps her out, and pours more concrete around her. Because otherwise, like, how would he perfectly shape it like a bench, yeah?
Well, Bev, let me tell you, okay?
You're going to tell me? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I thought I had to theorize. No, what? You're coming in with the deets.
Yeah, there are specific puzzle pieces that will make it very clear to you.
Oh, my Lord.
So, first, before I get into that, the police actually had to figure out, how do we get into the concrete?
How do we excavate her?
Yeah, like, how are we going to do this? And because maybe she's not even in there. Maybe this is just a ploy,
hunch,
right?
Yeah, maybe it's just a hunch they have, and
they could be wrong.
Yeah.
So ultimately, they determined that they are going to just smash the concrete until they find something, and then at that point, they will go at it a bit more delicate.
Okay. Yeah.
So they start smashing away, and what did they find, Bev? Rubbermaid container.
Oh, he didn't even dump her out of it. Holy fuck.
Exactly. This Rubbermaid container was duct taped shut, and when they opened it, they found Lisa's remains.
Oh my God.
She was folded into the fetal position, sitting in a mixture of kitty litter and salt. So what Allan had done was he put her in that container, filled it.
He didn't want her body to smell.
Yeah, he didn't want her body to smell. He didn't want liquid to come out.
So he wanted exactly what the kitty litter, what I thought it was for. Holy shit.
Yes, Bev,
my
you
mind
called
is
it.
Blown.
My mind is blown that you figured it out so fast.
Damn, Bev. I wouldn't have known if not for my class 4 license that I had to take.
All right, so going back to the concrete slab, what Allan did to make it like perfectly triangular, he put Lisa in the container by the wall. Then he used an old door to block that off. and poured the concrete in that way to make a perpendicular. Oh my
gosh.
However, he ran into some problems once it dried because there was actually a crack in the concrete. And there was some liquid, aka Lisa, dripping out as she decomposed. That obviously was unwanted. And so that's when he used the bleach paper towel to like clean it up.
Right.
Fill it back in and just repeated the process as that happened.
Oh my God.
Because he knew Lisa was down there, he, from that point on, did not let his children down there. He could not risk them
finding her,
smelling,
oh my God,
playing in any gross liquid. He just couldn't have it.
Damn.
Also, the police noted that there were air fresheners placed all around the house. So Allan took one more big step to make sure no one was smelling it, no one was going to see it. And obviously, he did enough to fool Peggy.
Of course,
and the police before.
Right.
So he did a good job for a short time.
Oh my God, that is so fucked though.
Mm-hmm. Now, going back to that voicemail, so they obviously got a search warrant to search his house in depth and, crack that concrete open. But then they also got warrants to search his laptop, his phone, all that stuff as well. Mm-hmm. And what they found out was that Allan had put, it's called stalkerware, on Lisa's phone. And what this allowed him to do was download all of her phone history, emails, texts, websites, anything that she was looking at. It would actually send to a separate email of Allan's so that he could go through everything.
What an invasion of privacy.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Now, I'm only assuming he did not do that with the intention of making his voicemail. I would assume he did it more
as being a possessive loser.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
And then he was able, with all those recordings of her voice, was able to make that voicemail and send it to Peggy.
That's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he did it. Like,
that is diabolical.
Isn't it though? And the one thing that I just can't get from my mind is, right at the beginning of you kind of outlining their history, I told you how possessive he was. Mm-hmm. Like, just that, she goes out, he's possessive. That pattern. That's why I was so surprised when they seemingly, actually worked through it. But then again, it rears its ugly head. Right? And then with this whole thing, him putting spyware on her to know her whereabouts, her happenings, her everything, that is so possessive that he fucking made a burial site for her body in his own home. She was going to be with him till the end.
Yeah.
That's next level possession of a human being.
It's
can't even couldn't even take her away from the home. No, put her in his basement. That is fucked.
It is messed up. So on top of the stalkerware they found and proof of that, the police also found internet searches on his laptop. And what they found, it's not all that crazy, but adds another layer, that's for darn sure.
Okay.
They found searches about murder legislation in Canada, as well as body decomposition and how it would differ with the ingredients that he used to bury her in.
Oh, no. It is crazy, Becky. Yeah. That is crazy, especially because his whole story was that she came at him with a knife.
And he was a victim.
Bullshit, you motherfucker. Bullshit.
Bev is not having any of that. So, Bev, after his confession, he was charged with second-degree murder.
Thank the Lord.
On top of it, he was actually also charged with committing an indignity
against a human body.
Yeah. In April of 2017, which also I found so crazy because I was on jury duty in May of 2017. I was like, oh my God, only a month earlier.
Weren't you chosen for that?
Right?
Dang,
I was like,
Becky.
Even though I had a fantastic experience on jury duty, I was like,
it's your dream.
So close.
This one would have been wild.
Yeah, why couldn't I do this one? I would have loved to have found justice for Lisa.
And this is 3 years after her mom made the public plea
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
So all in all, it took about 5 years from when she went missing.
Yeah, it was quite a long process, unfortunately. Yeah. So, like I said, his trial began in April 2017. Allan actually took the stand in his own defense.
Why are these guilty fucking losers always doing this?
They're like, I for sure can convince someone I'm innocent or that I am the victim. No, you can't. And so, in every single one of his confessions, he had stated that he was the victim and he was acting in self-defense. However, Bev, the courts, along with us, did not see it that way.
Good.
They did not believe that him manually strangling her was self-defense.
Even if it was, that thought he had of, I could stop, but no, I'm not. That alone right there is murder. Like, you had the opportunity to show her mercy at a time when she was incapacitated, and you chose not to. That's murder.
So, Bev, the only saving grace that Allan had was the judge did believe that he did not intend to kill Lisa that day. So, instead of finding him guilty of second-degree murder, he was found guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter, as well as the indignity to a body.
Oh, I hate that. So then my question, just to clarify, is the searches on his computer that were Googling, like, how to
do all that,
like the decomposing and what to add.
It was
blah,
done
blah, blah.
after Lisa was missing.
Great. Okay, that's good to know. Because if it was done before, well, then that shows intent, right? So
that's first degree.
That is first degree.
That's right.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, he probably lost his cool and, like,
killed her.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I get that. But still, manslaughter? I hate that.
Ugh. So Allan told the court that he was so sorry for what happened. And with him being sorry, showing remorse, he was sentenced to 5 years for manslaughter and 2 years for indignity of a body, adding up to a grand total of 7 years. Now, as shocked as you are, and I can assure you Bev's mouth is wide open right now just staring at me, the prosecution was equally disturbed. So they filed an appeal.
Drum roll, please.
Well, Bev, the Canadian Courts of Appeal found the sentence was not enough.
Yes!
The fact that he had lied and had the galls to message Lisa's family after the fact, they chose to increase his sentence by 3 years.
Oh.
I know, like, at least it was more, but it was still only a grand total of 10 years. So now these poor children, Bev. Their dad is in jail. Their mom is dead. Peggy now has custody of their 2 children.
Oh, that makes me feel very happy, actually. Especially because I can only assume that she was a good mom based on her relationship with her daughter.
She was a fabulous mom. Peggy is raising them like she would her own children. Although she said it's been a tough journey for her. She's at the age of almost retirement, and she's raising 2 kids.
And she had to grieve the loss of her own kid,
Exactly. On top of it, what's really hard is how do they talk to these children about what happened to their mom and dad? So now they're kind of going into double digits. At the time of the documentary I watched, they were in double digits, and Peggy told them that their dad's actions are the reason why their mom is dead and why he is in jail. She doesn't go into specifics.
Probably a good thing. If they want to find that out later, they can.
Exactly. And she says we'll deal with that when the time comes, but she's not looking forward to that because it's going to be really hard.
Of course it's going to be hard. I'm happy she didn't lie, though, and, like, was honest that, it was your dad's actions, because they should know that.
They should know. I can imagine, because when he's out of jail and if they sought out a relationship with him,
they should know and be able to be informed enough to know, like, whether they truly want that relationship or not.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
So in February 2019, just a few years into his sentence, Allan was granted day parole. Boo.
Boo.
However, he was living at a halfway house, and ultimately there was a bunch of sex toys found in his room there. And he had admitted to officers that he had paid for sex at a massage parlor on more than one occasion. The parole board found that he was deceitful and sent his ass right back to prison. Now, even though Allan was sent back to prison, in April of 2022, he was given statutory release, which means that he is closely monitored as he's integrated back into society. However, he does have strict conditions that he must follow and rules he must oblige by.
Or else he might be sent back to prison? Or
Absolutely.
Okay. So he literally is living in community and getting help to be reintegrated back into society at this point.
Exactly.
Wow.
And this Bev also was he only served 2/3 of his sentence.
I know. I'm like, 2/3 of his sentence is what? Like 6 years, basically.
Yeah.
A little more. Oh my gosh. I have a hard time with this one because he killed somebody. Like manslaughter, I don't think that's enough. I just don't. I will never think that that's enough for him. I think he should spend the rest of his life in prison. Like, what is stopping him from getting into another relationship that is toxic, where he displays the same type of controlling or jealous or possessive behaviors, and he's with another woman who, you know, is strong and says, you know, stuff it.
Yeah.
And he does the same thing to her or worse, you know. He's kind of gotten a slap on the wrist for killing a woman. Not just killing her, like burying her in basically a tomb in his basement.
And then creating this ridiculous story for her family and causing so much, like, harm to them all.
Like, I think this was, like, a fucking shocking case.
Yeah, he should have got more jail time, absolutely.
My God. In all of my true crime watching, viewing, listening, there are times where evil people get released from prison, and what happens? Another innocent person gets hurt or murdered. You know? We've seen it time and time again.
We have.
And I just don't get this one. I don't fucking get it.
Me either. So
I'm outraged.
She's angry. So let's hope that all the rehabilitation that they're helping him with and integration, hopefully they really work on his mental health and strategies to control his anger and anything else that's going on with him.
Yeah.
And that he can actually become a safe and valuable part of our society.
Yeah. I mean, that's the dream. That is the hope with these reintegration processes, of course. I just still feel
it's crap.
It's crap.
It was crap.
Like, I get it if he spent years and then maybe he was granted parole years and years later, but with this one, I just feel like manslaughter doesn't cut it for me. I don't think that was an accident. I think it was a very conscious decision.
Yeah, and this was a slap on the wrist, like you said.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, if the consequences don't match the level of the crime, people kind of get this inflated sense of, like, their ability to get away with them.
Right, like minimal consequences. So are people more apt to do crimes when it's like, oh, that's all? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll just deal with that if I get caught.
Yeah, it's honestly like I can equate it to the kids that I work with. It's like if they kick somebody in the face and you say, oh, just say sorry, they're going to kick that kid in the face again because their consequence was apologizing? Like, tough. How tough, right? Like, it doesn't match what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? So
they'll do it again.
It's not going to motivate them to stop.
Exactly.
And like you said, I do hope that he gets the help for his mental health, and just like, I hope that the reintegration process is a success with Allan, but
only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
Let's hope for the best.
And let's hope we don't see another victim of him come up.
Exactly.
In future recordings.
Well, Bev, that's all I got for you today.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Thanks for listening.